Everybody can see me. I'm going to check real quick um, and make sure everybody can see me. I am here with Julia, and I'm very excited because number one, I love, love, love this resort. But number two, Julia and her now husband, Tom, were very, very involved in their wedding and planning. And when I do these webinars, I really try to be very selective with who I have come on because I really want to have, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but sometimes brides and grooms are not as involved and they're sort of okay with just whatever the resort is offering. And Julia and Tom were very, very involved from the get-go. And Julia, so let me introduce myself. I'm Andrea. I'm Andrea Norfolk. I am president of Shoreline Destinations, and we have been doing weddings for quite some time now. We also do honeymoons, Europe, cruises. We do a little bit of everything, but we have two separate divisions where we have our regular um, vacations and then our whole destination wedding team, which is a secondary website and team in itself. So I'm happy to be here. I love doing these webinars, and I'm happy that I get to talk to Julia. I can't wait for you guys to see all of her pictures and get her feedback on the property, the planning process, and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to get right into it. So Julia, maybe you can give a little intro to yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Julia Roshberg, or now Julia Moore. I just told Andrea, since getting married, I finally got all my D's and everything updated. So Julia Moore. Just married my husband, Tom, back in April at the Hyatt Zilara. We are coming from New Jersey, so not super far, but I don't know what else to share, but
Well, okay, so Julia, you have to remind me, did I recommend this resort or had you done some research in advance?
So when Tom and I were deciding where we wanted to destination wise get married, we were doing a bunch of Google searches and
Mhm.
we stumbled upon Shoreline and you, and that's how we found you. And then once we started asking people about destinations and venues, we started to find out that some of our friends and even Tom's mom had been to Hyatt Zilara for vacation. So by the
Mhm.
time we had our first consultation, you were recommending it. We were like, oh, we've already kind of heard about this place. So
Yeah.
it just was kind of like meant to be in that regard. So a little
Yeah.
bit of both. We heard about it already, and then you kind of solidified and validated for us.
Yeah. This is truly one of my favorites. It's really hard to beat. And not that there aren't amazing resorts in the DR, but honestly, it is truly my favorite. It has been my favorite since they opened. I love the wedding team there. Um, I'm very particular. I'm very picky because I just don't want to send not only the couple, but their guests. And there's always that built-in
Yeah.
guilt for bride and grooms, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're making our couples, or we're making our guests pay to come to our wedding. There's always that built-in guilt, which I'm
Yeah.
sure you guys, I mean, everybody has it.
Oh, I remember coming to you. You're like, how much do you want your guests to pay? And I said like 300. And you were like, yeah, that's not really realistic for it. I had no experience with all inclusive. So we really had to sit with it. And I called some of my friends to be like, hey, is this unrealistic? And everyone was like, no, like that is what I would expect to pay for an all inclusive. And it makes sense. Like obviously looking back, everything you get with the property
Yeah.
of spending more
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, it is at a higher price point, and we'll touch on that. But again, this is just part of my team. This is not everybody at all, but we are a boutique agency. I like it that way. I like to have ladies that are a great fit with us. We have such a great team where everybody specializes in a little something different. But this is again just a little bit about us, but I don't want to waste a lot of time on that. So I do want to talk about what you're getting when you work with us. And Julia, you can jump in on any of this. So when we have that initial consultation, it's really me gathering information about what is your budget for your wedding? What do you want your guests to pay? Which, again, a lot of couples don't really know, but I try to get some information from the get-go on what your vision is, where you want to be budget wise. Um, and the initial consultation really is for you to get to know me and me to get to know you and see what appeals to you. Some people want to get married on the beach. Some people want nothing to do with the beach. So we run through all of those things. From there, I do have a $300 fee if you are just unsure of where you want to get married. I have that fee, and I have that fee for multiple reasons, but I go to all of these resorts. I am so selective. I am so picky. If somebody comes to me with a certain resort and I either don't like the groups department and I know it's going to be a disaster, they may not be set up to handle groups appropriately, or it's a brand or a property that I feel is subpar, I would rather not do the wedding. And I will tell people that up front. I, pride myself on giving resorts that I think people are going to love. So with that $300, you're going to get a proposal from me, whether it's DR, Mexico, Jamaica, whatever it is. It can be multiple destinations, and on there it's going to have all of the different properties, why I like it, and it's going to have homework steps. It's not, I don't want to tell you where you should go. That's not the point of this. It's for me to narrow down the 5 million resorts that are out there. Instead of spending hours and hours and hours, I'm going to have that list already narrowed down. I can assure you I've either been there multiple times, I've done multiple weddings there, I know the teams well. So I'm not giving anything I'm not comfortable with. You're going to have myself as far as dedicated agents. You're going to have myself, and you're going to have somebody on my team assigned to your wedding. Julia, who did you have?
Meredith, a
Okay.
godsend.
Okay. Yeah. And it's funny, like, couples will come back and email me and they're like, my guests love Meredith, or they love
Yeah.
Sharon, or whomever it is that's assigned to the weddings. And really, the guests are speaking more with the coordinator on my team than me.
Hmm.
So those coordinators are a reflection of me and our company. And I tell them all the time, I could not do this without them. They are integral. And we are luckily a bunch of OCD ladies that there's just not a lot of stuff that's left for days. We are responding almost immediately. And I think guests want that. They want to feel like they have somebody um, answering their questions. So you're going to get that. Obviously, as far as guest reservations, we're handling all of that. We're going to send you all of the ceremony, the wedding package information, the venues, the capacities. You're going to get all that from me once we get that proposal that I send to you, once we get your list narrowed down to your top 2 to 3 properties. And Julia, did we go right to Ziva Zilara? Like, was that it?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were pretty set on it already, I think.
Yeah. Yep. So this is a little bit different. Julia didn't have to go through that, but most couples are really unsure of where they want to go, or they want to see multiple properties. Um, so at that point, once we get that big list that I give you narrowed down, then I'm going to give you all of that information. So you're not going to have to go searching for it. Um, as far as pricing, there is nothing built in. So, a lot of people will say, oh, well, I'll just go right to the hotel. I can tell you these hotels, the infrastructure is not going to set up where you're going to hear back from people like you do from us. And our pricing is what our pricing is. We get that from the hotel. So it's really a win-win for couples and for guests. Um, so I think there's a big misconception that working with an agent, guests are going to pay higher prices. That is not the case at all. In many cases, I'm advocating on the behalf of guests and couples when situations come up that, God forbid, a rate is higher than what they originally went to contract with. I'm pushing and going back to the resort and saying we need to do a contract amendment. So you're always going to have an advocate for you that's handling these pricing situations if they come up. And then obviously for guest activities, we will help you if you want to do an excursion, a group excursion. Did you guys do a group excursion?
We didn't. Yeah, we didn't do an outing now. 'Cause there's so
Okay.
much to do on the property, honestly.
I know, I know. And we don't, it's not, we don't have a ton of people wanting to do it, but some people will want to do like after the wedding, they'll want to do like a group catamaran or something like that. Some couples, as a thank you to their guests, will pay for a catamaran cruise for their guests. So we can help arrange that if that's something that you guys are interested in. And then we have a vault. So we have a list of preferred vendors in different destinations. We put tips on there from past brides. Like sometimes we'll get an email from brides. And I think even Julia, when you sent over tips, there was something you had, and I emailed my team and was like, add that to the vault. It was a great tip.
Hmm.
So we're constantly trying to update the vault with information. And we're going to talk about Julia's tips and what she sent over. So once you sign up with us and we figure out what resort you're going to, you're going to get access to the vault, which is going to have some other helpful information as well in there. And I'm not going to run through all of this. If you're on this webinar or you're trying to decide, do you want to do a destination wedding? And maybe Julia, you can talk a little bit about it, but destination weddings, a lot of it is given to you as far as the vendors and the packages. You're not having to search for all of those different vendors up front. And it really is a celebration for multiple days with your friends and family. So I don't
Yeah.
know, Julia, was there a reason that you decided to go the destination wedding route instead of doing a local wedding?
Definitely. Well, first, Tom and I weren't a bride and groom that either of us like grew up envisioning a certain type of wedding for ourselves. So we knew, and this is number one on my tips, was like we had a goal together as a couple that we wanted to have fun and spend time with the people we love. Like those are really, I know they're kind of broad, but that was like the main theme of our wedding. And so we were like, how do we accomplish that? And we were thinking about maybe eloping in a destination, and then didn't accomplish our goal. So we were like, how do we get everybody where we want into a beautiful destination? And so that's really what made us decide. And I would also say that the cost, like I see that number 8, like we live in New Jersey, as I
Yeah.
mentioned, and weddings are, I mean, astronomical. And we were so fortunate to have my parents help and his parents help, but I would even feel uncomfortable asking my parents living in New Jersey, like to spend the money that we were going to have to. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
more than half what we would have spent. Like my dad kept being like, "Are you sure this is it? Like this is
Oh,
all?" And I was like, "Yeah, like we got so much and we didn't really need a ton either like decoration wise because you're in paradise." So that was more of like the cherry on top. But
yeah.
really we had so many guests come early too, so we really accomplished our goal that we set
Yeah.
out to.
Yeah. No, for sure the cost thing, and we hear that all the time. And it really is the best of both worlds because you're getting to celebrate for multiple days with your family
Mhm.
and friends, and from a budget perspective, you're going to save money. And like
Yep.
you said, Julia, I literally tell couples the same thing. I'm like, you could go crazy with flowers, but there is no need to. You are in paradise. Like,
Mhm.
enjoy the surroundings. That'll save a ton of money right there, not going crazy with flowers, because we've seen some really, really big budgets and money spent on flowers. And I'm like, oh, you don't need to do it. Um, but yeah, your destination wedding is what you make of it. So if you have a certain budget, I'm going to tell you in the consultation if that's realistic or not. I mean, I'm definitely going to be upfront with that. Um, but most of the time, I would say it's somewhere between 20 and 30. Most couples are coming to me with around that budget. And if that is your budget, you will be able to accomplish what you want within reason within that budget. You have to be clear with your wedding planner, and you also have to decide what you want to prioritize as far as sticking to that budget, because these resorts can do it all. You want a cigar roller, you want fireworks, you want a mariachi band, like they can do it all. So it really comes down to what are your priorities and sticking with that budget. Um, but we love working on destination weddings, obviously. Punta Cana, it's amazing to me. I started in this industry, I don't know, we're going on 12, 13 years. I've lost track. Punta Cana was just really, there were resorts there, but it is getting so built up now. And I'm so impressed with what, like the airport's very modern.
Mm-hmm.
The properties that are coming in, I was just there in May and I'm headed back this weekend. Um, I was in shock in May, the amount of new resorts coming and the construction and the money that they are pouring into Punta Cana. So really, really impressive things on the horizon. And this resort has been open. It opened late 2019. I was there 2020, basically for sort of a grand opening awards type thing. And then obviously COVID hit. So then the resort was basically shut down after it had been really brand new. So it really didn't get up and running until 2021. Um, so we're still in this like new phase of a resort. The rooms still look great. Like, weren't you happy with the rooms and the condition of the resort?
Yeah, everything was great. I mean, real and the like going even to the spa was like, I mean, took my breath away. The spa is incredible.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, everything was the gym. Oh my gosh, wait, even if you don't work out, it's just like the
I
best thing to
know.
go look at. It's just incredible. So yeah, we love the resort and the property.
I know. It really, like, every time I go there, and I have been so many times, every time I walk in, I'm like, oh, I'm home. It
Yeah.
is the gym, like you said, honestly, it's better than some of the gyms in the US. It is
It's
insanity.
incredible. Yeah, we did some like of the group classes, and
Yeah.
I mean, even if you don't work out, you're gonna leave being motivated to work out because
Yeah.
it's just awesome.
I know. It really, really is. So the resort, they do such a good job there between food and beverage, service, the condition of the rooms, how the resort is laid out. So Ziva is going to be your family friendly. For those of you that don't know, Zilara is the adult only side. So if you're having an adult only wedding, then you can have your venue right here in the middle is the Zilara gazebo. Um, you can, since it's in the middle, you can, if you have a family friendly, they will allow you to use this gazebo, but then you cannot use unless they confirm it right before. There's a rooftop terrace here, which everybody loves and wants.
Mhm.
They will not allow this combination. So most are getting married at the Ziva gazebo, which is here, and then the rooftop terrace, which is here. But the beauty of this resort is we get so many where the bulk of the rooms we put on the adult only side. Um, and we might have a few rooms with, families for nieces and nephews or good friends where they, want to be able to bring their kids. We put them on the family friendly side. And then obviously you would have your wedding on the family friendly side. So, Julia, do you want to talk about your venues real quick and what you did?
Yeah, we did a no kid wedding, so we were all in the Zalara, but we did get married at the Ziva gazebo.
Mhm.
And then we walked over, and our reception was on the beach in Zalara. And our
So,
reception the night before, we did welcome drinks on the Ziva rooftop. And that was
yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
But our wedding was about 100 people, so we had a pretty big destination, so we couldn't do it on the rooftop from a wedding standpoint. And we
yeah.
wanted it on the reception on the beach anyways. But yeah, and it worked out great. Like you will go to the Ziva side quite a bit for restaurants and the water
Yeah.
parks. Our guests love the water park.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of you go to the Ziva side quite a bit, but I think our guests that have kids and were considering bringing kids really decided not to because you can't come to the Zalara side with your kids, obviously. So they would miss out on a lot of like the wedding activities or just during the day. So just something to consider if you do have guests that have kids and considering bringing them, they just can't come over to the Zalara side with everybody that's hanging out.
Yeah, they have a great kids club, but obviously you can't stick your kids in there all day long.
Right.
So, it's one of those things. I think that makes total sense. And this lawn here on the Zilara side is another popular venue. We've done a lot of adult only weddings where we've had the reception here on this lawn. It does depend on how big your wedding is because, like Julia said, this rooftop area, which is very popular to do a reception up there, they really cap it at around 80. You can squeeze in maybe a few people, but they're gonna, nix it if it's over, really
Hmm.
80 or 82, 83. So what Julia did, which was smart, she still got to have it here. It just was a cocktail uh,
Hmm.
reception. So that way you're not having the big round tables and all of that. So they can hold more people up here for the cocktail the day before. So
Yeah, we still had like couches. We did do a cigar roller on the rooftop. So we were able to fit, even with a lot of people, for the welcome drinks on the
yeah,
rooftop.
yep. And here is the beach. Here is me with some of the wedding team. This was from a wedding, I don't know, over a year ago, but occasionally I will come on property if I can for weddings, not all the time, but I just love the team. I like to stay in contact with them. I have a very, very good working relationship with the whole resort here. So, again, these are just here's a rehearsal taking place on the beach, um, just some general photos. It's a beautiful beach. So for those that want to get married on a beach, I mean, you can't beat it. And I'm not going to run through all this because we really already talked about it. So again, Zilara is going to be the adult only. Ziva is the family friendly. If you have adults for whatever reason on the Ziva side that maybe don't have kids, occasionally the Zilara side actually gets sold out and we have to put adults on the Ziva side. I tell them, do not worry about it. It's literally where
Hmm.
you're sleeping because you can have access to everything on the adult side. So we've had to do that before where we've run out of rooms on the Zilara side and we've just put people over on the Ziva side and they can come right over. Um,
I would agree. It's a non-issue. Like we didn't have
yeah,
any, but we were going to the Ziva side all the time for restaurants and different
yeah.
things. It's like it's really a non-issue.
Yeah. And the resort is laid out so nicely. They merged the
Yeah.
two where it doesn't feel like it just feels like one big property, to be
Hmm.
honest with you. And again, as Julia mentioned, there is a water park which is behind the resort. So again, another perk if you're going to have a family friendly. It's a fantastic water park, great kids club back there. And again, like Julia said, great spa. So here's just a few more pictures. You can always tell what is the Zilara side. That's very structured, where it's more rectangular and structured. And then Ziva does the sort of wavy, flowy. So that's how they sort of differentiate on pictures. You can always tell what's Ziva and what's Zilara. But honestly, again, the properties flow together so nicely. There's a few pictures of the water park, and the adults love it. I love the
I
lazy
loved
river. I
it.
hang out in the lazy river. Um,
I was trying not to like break any limbs before I got married, but my cousins did a whole thing. Like it was, they came out with many stories. I'll just say that.
it's funny. And there's food trucks over there, which is fun. So again, it's a nice little area behind the two U-shaped resorts. It's back there. Plenty of dining to choose from. I'm not going to run through all of this, but I don't know. Did you have a favorite?
I will say Shutters was
Yeah,
by far the best for, I mean, breakfast and we did a dinner there. We
yeah,
love Shutters.
yeah,
And then for I did like I didn't have to do a bachelorette party. So my bachelorette night we did at the hibachi place, which was really fun and great.
yeah.
So that was great. And we did some buffets, like they had like different theme nights and they were just awesome. But
I know. I usually don't like a buffet. Like that is
yeah,
usually not my thing. I have to say the buffets here, especially on the Ziva side, like
they're great.
amazing.
Yeah, like
Amazing.
ceviche, like just fresh fish, like anything you really want.
Yeah.
I will say, and we may get into this like the club level versus not, but
Yeah.
we, a lot of our guests didn't do club. It was pretty much 50-50, and
Yeah.
almost everyone upon check-in upgraded to club. We were all like laughing because we're like, we told you to do it on the front end, but I think when I bring that up in dining, there's just like Shutters, for example, is a club level
Yes.
only place. So if you want like a nice sit down breakfast by the beach, like that, to me, that's, I love doing that on a vacation. So like there's just certain restaurants that they can't go to. It's, to me, it's not like a deal breaker. It's just a very nice to have.
Okay.
And I
I
think
love that.
important, like again, almost every single one of our guests ended up upgrading just for dining, for better alcohol, access to things, the pool, there's a club level pool. So there's just perks that you may not think you want, but you do when you're on the vacation.
Okay. We're going to bring that up at the end. And also,
Okay.
Julie, I'm going to have you monitor. If anybody has any questions, please put it in the chat. I was supposed to say that in the beginning and I did not. Please put it in the chat. I do have some questions that people had emailed me, but we're going to touch on club versus non. Because I will tell you, people don't do it and they pay much more if they do it on property.
Hmm.
It like the room rate is way less if you just do it from the get-go. So I love that point. We'll talk on that further. But again, great restaurants here. I love Shutters too for breakfast.
So good.
That's definitely one of my favorite. Fun bars, lounges, of course, they're going to have all of that. Tons of bars and lounges to choose from. And like Julia said, if you do club level, um, the alcohol in there, like you can get bottled beers. I don't know why, but I like the margaritas from the Ziva Club. Don't ask me why. I just think they're amazing. So I will literally go over to the Ziva Club to get my margarita for the day or the evening. So the alcohol is upgraded a bit when you're at the club level. Um, these are just a few weddings. This was one of our so these people had actually, they were one of the very first weddings here at Ziva Zilara, and they had booked their wedding, I believe, in 2018 or early 2019 before the resorts were even open. But I knew these resorts were going to be incredible. And I was like, you have to go here. You have to go here, and they did it. They trusted me, and we had to move their wedding because of COVID, of course. But they were one of the first couples, I think the very first wedding room block contract at the resort. So great couple. Love their pictures. This picture is actually used in a lot of the media for Ziva Zilara wedding packages. So this was one of our great couples. Here's one where they did get married on the beach. Love all the florals and decor that they did. Um, Another beautiful wedding. I mean, the photos are just, I, I love the photography team here. I get to see a
Hmm.
lot of different pictures from different resorts, and I have to say the photography, the companies that are used here for videography and photography, off the charts. I love all the photos, and there's so many great photo ops. So we're going to see Julia's and Tom's in just a minute. Um,
Yeah,
here
the
was
team was great.
yeah.
Ryan was like assigned to meet the bride. He was like my therapist for the day. It was
Oh,
so, he was like, take deep breaths. Like what, he was just so great.
and it's nice to have that, like when you're,
Yeah.
especially if you're not like, I'm so not comfortable in front of the camera, to have somebody that's sort of guiding you and coaching you on do this and do that.
Yeah.
Like you need that.
Oh my, the twirl or the dips. Me and Tom couldn't get the dip down, but Ryan was doing his very best to give us some constructive feedback.
I love it. I love it. So here was a South Asian wedding we did last year. A lot of decor and production goes into a South Asian wedding. Beautiful couple. She had some amazing dresses. And this was another couple. This was adult only. In fact, we've done a webinar with Rachel that is out on YouTube. She was very involved in her planning, so we had done a webinar with her last year. But I just love all these pictures. Really, like this almost looks like it could be in a magazine. So again, you're going to
Mhm.
get great quality photos using the vendor on property. You're not going to have to go search for vendors, and they actually won't allow you to bring in an outside photographer from Punta Cana. Occasionally, if you put them in the room block, if you're bringing someone from the US, I can talk to them about it. But honestly, these pictures are amazing. Um,
Yeah, I was like nervous, not that I had vendors in mind, but I just, you're just nervous, like out of the
Yep.
country, like what are they gonna be like? But like I think on one of my tips too, I started following all of the vendors
Yeah.
and really felt way more comfortable seeing their work and just how much experience they have. And it was just amazing.
Look at this picture. I love this. This is one of my favorites.
The
So
windy
pretty.
day.
Love it. Love it. Um, and here's some more. This is cute with the girls.
Yeah, we had
That's
a good
over at the
time.
lawn, but where the spa is, right?
Yes, so
Yeah.
there is a bride suite that you all can get ready in for the bridal party that's in the spa, so it's really cool. And then this is like, yeah, right outside
Yeah.
that we just took some
Super cute.
pictures.
And here's the cocktail. So this is up on the rooftop so everybody can see the how they
Hmm.
had it set up with the cocktail table. So again, if you have over 80 people, maybe you can't use this for your reception, but certainly plenty of space for a cocktail hour.
Yeah,
This is cute. I like that one.
thank you. Yeah,
So
we were a
that's,
little hesitant on the inside photos, but we ended up like
yeah,
loving them in the martini bar, like down, like they were just
yeah,
awesome. And yeah, it also because it was really windy that day, so my veil couldn't get captured as much in the outside. So it really was nice to have the inside photos.
yeah, yeah. This is at the Indian restaurant there.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so let's talk quickly about these venues. And again, this is something, if you're interested in this property, I'm obviously going to give you this information. So again, rooftop terrace, 80 guests approximately. Zilara Gazebo, that's the one in the middle of the two properties. Ziva Beach Gazebo, up to 80 guests. You really can have more. I mean, this is all beach here. And Julia, you had 100, right?
Yeah, we had yeah.
Yeah, so they put this has the lawn here, so this may be more of an issue. This is not going to be an issue if you have more. Um, and again, this is outright on the beach. If you have a very large wedding, it would be done on the beach. This Larimar lawn, which is over by the spa behind the property where Julia was saying the spa and where they had that picture, this is really for corporate events. So you would have to have at least a minimum of 200 or 300 people for them to even confirm this. And it's so large, you wouldn't want to have a wedding here because if it's under that amount of guests, because it would feel lost. So they really reserve this for very large corporate events or very, very large weddings. And then obviously there's ballroom space. They always have to have backup space in case the weather is not good. This is just a few pictures of different setups from some of the weddings we've done on the rooftop. And then this is the thing that I think is very important. So we're going to have a whole segment when we're done with this. We're going to sort of segment it out on YouTube of just your tips after going through a destination wedding. So maybe I'll read it out loud, and then if you have something to add, please, add it in here. I thought your tips were really, really good. And like I said, there was something on here where I said we need to add that to the vault.
Yeah.
So have a goal with your partner for your wedding. Okay, explain that a little more.
So I touched on this, but I think weddings can become so much, they become about everything but the bride and groom. It's the planning, it's what your mom, your great aunt want. It's just everything except the bride and groom. So Tom and I early on really sat down and again, we're like, what do we want our wedding day and the process to be like? Again, the thought of really planning a wedding was not enticing to me. And that's hence why we were like thinking about eloping. And so we kind of want to do like the easiest route possible, essentially. And again, our goals were to have fun and be with the people we love, like very simple. And wedding day, I wanted to be on the dance floor the entire night. So like those were simple, fun goals. And we kept that true to our process the whole time, hence the destination wedding, hence working with you all. Um, so we really checked those boxes and we kept that front of mind throughout the process and our wedding day. And just, it really helped like not let the little things that like the wind, our wedding day was
Yeah,
crazy. Like we were just like, whatever, like
yeah.
it's fun, it's our story. And so it was super helpful to have like kind of a North Star that we both were focused on.
Yeah, yeah. And I know you guys went to the resort ahead of time, so everyone
Yeah.
asks about timing. And again, you guys didn't, there are very few couples that come to me that say, we want to go see the resort before we sign a contract. To be honest with you, it's very rare. And when somebody does that, they had better have at least 18 months plus, and
Yeah.
they to go to the resort right away because dates fill up extremely quickly, whether it's this resort or a different resort, but this resort in particular, dates go quickly. So
Mm.
most couples are signing their contracts. We're starting the process before they go to the resort. So when did you go?
We went about 6 months before, so September, and we got married in beginning of April. And we did like a Thursday to Monday situation with both of our moms, which was nice. And it was also nice to do it while we're in the planning process because we got to sit down with our wedding planner. We got to meet all the vendors
Yeah,
and really just talk to them about our vision. They were showing us examples and just see the property itself. So I'm a very visual person,
yeah,
and that was super helpful. So we had already booked the venue. We were 6 months out. So it was
yeah,
kind of perfect timing.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good time because you've started planning, you've started the process. In the very beginning, you don't really need to do that. To me, you're gathering information, you're looking on social media, you're
Yep.
gathering your vision and pulling it together. And then at some point when you guys, when couples are ready to go, I think 6 months is a good time frame.
Hmm.
And again, that touches on number three, have inspiration. So you're going to get catalogs. All of that information is going to be given to you. Um, but that's where you should be going on social media once you figure out what resort and start looking at what other brides have done. Look at flowers, like create an inspiration board for yourself so that you can send that to the planning team, so they have an idea.
Yeah, and I would say in my experience with the Hyatt, they're very literal. Like if I sent them like an inspo picture, they thought like exactly what I wanted, which is nothing wrong with that. So I learned quickly that like, okay, they're gonna take like what I'm sending very seriously. And so I really had to send multiple pictures. And again, the in-person meeting helped so much to be like, hey, I didn't want any like roses. I didn't want, so like I was able to like really iron that out in person. But I think with hair and makeup too, my experience, like I don't speak Spanish and it was a language barrier. So like
Yeah.
really having those pictures, it was a non-issue of just, if there is something very specific you want. I was also able to do my hair and makeup trial when I went in September, which was huge for me. And my mom did hers. So that was also a plus of going early.
Yeah, yeah. I think hair and makeup is very important because you have to
Hmm.
love it. So yeah, having the inspiration, a lot of brides will create a Pinterest,
Yeah.
almost like a Pinterest board, and they're just pinning stuff. And that's a really good way to keep a collection of what you love. Um, and of course, ask a lot of questions. I will say my feedback on that and what I try to tell couples. Um, Number one, I like to be copied on everything just because I'm
Hmm.
a control freak and I want to make sure everything's going smoothly. And I just like when I'm not copied on stuff, I'm like, I hope the planning process is going okay because I haven't heard anything. Um, but I tell couples be very concise, do it in bullet points. Do not send them
Yeah.
a paragraph. There is going to be a language barrier, whether it's DR, Mexico. Keep it concise, keep it bullet points. If you send them a paragraph of something about these flowers and I like this and it's like I'm overwhelmed when I get a paragraph. I don't want to
Hmm.
read a paragraph. So you have to keep it concise, try to keep it bullet points, short points.
I
Um,
would agree. And also request meetings. Like we set up a ton of video calls with our wedding planner. Just, if I was like, I'm getting overwhelmed, all these emails
yeah,
back and forth, it'd just be easier to hop on a call. So
yep,
it's okay. It's your day to like finalize things and make sure it's what you want.
100%. And sometimes when I see that, when I see a lot of back and forth and they're not getting it, or it's just, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, guys, everybody, we need to get on a call. And sometimes I'll jump on or I will just get it organized because same thing. I'm like, okay, this is too much back and forth now. So 100%. And then arrive as early before your wedding date as possible. So you did 5 days, which that's long. I mean,
It's
most
long.
couples are doing like 3 days because you have to be there 2 business days prior to your event. Most are doing 3. You did 5. And I liked what you said. Don't lay out and get sunburned.
Oh my gosh, you all, I got so burnt and I had a strapless. But I didn't start peeling till the day after the wedding. So it was all over
Oh,
my chest. It was crazy. I did wear sunscreen. It was like new. I tried this like non-toxic mineral. It didn't work. So,
oh my gosh.
but yeah, I mean, we still haven't planned our honeymoon or anything. So like we weren't doing that immediately. So we were like, hey, why stay on the back end? Let's go on the front end for a while. And we knew a bunch of our guests were going to come early too. And again, like keeping our goal about Tom and I, we wanted that time for ourselves. We wanted to, in one of the packages, it's like a romantic dinner they plan just for you all. We wanted to go to the spa and just like really relax, be present before we had 100 people come. And we knew we were going to be like stretched thin. So it was important to us to have that time, just us two, to really like soak everything in.
I love it. And yeah, a lot of guests, especially close family or like the bridal party, they will come in extra early.
Hmm.
So you want to be done with talking to your planners and running through all that stuff. So by the time your guests get there, you're sort of chill and relax and can focus on just being with your guests, not in meetings for last minute things.
Yeah.
Um, and then a massage at the spa. That's a must. I love that.
It's definitely a must. It was so great. Again, Tom and I did that before everyone got there, but then we also surprised our parents. We booked them massages, and then everyone started booking massages. And we
Oh.
also, our package included our guests got 10% off the
Yeah.
spa.
Yeah.
So everyone used that. Like it was just, the spa is just incredible when you all see it. It's just awesome. So it was just a great way to relax.
Yeah. I love that. And lean on people. Of course, that's important. You guys can't do it all. But I do want to touch on, don't you feel like the wedding planners, like they're there for you, especially the day of? Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Our wedding planner was at the right, like we all got WhatsApp and
Yeah.
I was like texting her. We had like a family group text and
Yeah.
there's just a lot of moving pieces. Like dad needs to be in this suite at X time and mom needs to be here. And there was just things like I need food, like someone help me. I'm a bride and I'm having all these people talk to me, but I really need food. So like, yeah, they were all there just to help and be ready. So yeah, it was an awesome experience.
Yeah. And again, we touched on this. I'm going to save it to the end. We're going to come back and
Okay.
talk about club versus not. Transportation to and from the resort. I think that's a great value add. I try to bring that up when I'm having consultations with couples. It's a nice little extra thank you if it's in the budget to
Hmm.
pay for transportation for your guests. So I
Yeah.
love that you did that, and I know your guests were very appreciative.
That was like the number one thing they thanked us for. And I was like, really? Like, I thought it was kind of like a common thing, but I guess, not so much if it's not in the budget, of course. But
Yeah,
as I mentioned, like you might have extra with a destination wedding. And
yeah,
and Meredith and Shoreline um coordinated that whole thing too. Like your guests just have to send them their flight information and they coordinate the entire transportation
yeah,
to and from. So it was so seamless. I didn't have to do a thing and just one less thing to worry about.
yeah. I will say transportation for us is the biggest headache. So it is a nightmare. You would not believe people put the wrong flight numbers
Oh,
on
yeah.
it is a nightmare, but we like to do that. And when couples or the couple's parents are paying for transportation, we can collect the flight information. We work with the transportation company to put a big manifest together to get everybody lumped as close as we can together. Um, and then just give whatever the final price is. So it really,
Yeah.
it's a nice extra perk. And it's funny that you say that, Julia, but I think people really appreciate, even if it's just that little thing.
Yeah.
Um,
It was
so
great.
I love it, and I'm glad you did that. And we have other couples that either they're doing a catamaran as a thank you, or they're doing the transportation, and both
Hmm.
are very nice ways of saying thank you to your guests for coming to a destination wedding. Um, and then put thought into the different pictures you want. I think this is, again, I love that you put this because you may not be thinking about it, but this, like, I look at all these pictures that we have from all these couples and even this one of you on the dock, and it's like, think about and research the pictures ahead of time at the resort so you can tell the photographers, oh, I want this, or whatever type of style you like.
Style, but also people. Like the photographer, they did reach out to us, and this was probably like a few weeks before our wedding. And I was a little like brain fried, and they're like, think about all the combinations of people you want. And in the moment too, there was a lot going on. And I walked away. I didn't have any pictures with like me and my mother-in-law or my mom and I just in the bridal suite and none of us outside. And so just like things like they're just things you don't think that you're gonna want. And then I look, but not that I have like a lot of regrets, right? But it's just like, oh, I just wish I had that picture with my
Yeah.
mother-in-law. And so just it is important to like put thought into it because in the moment it's probably one of the last things that was on my list, or I was just like, oh, it'll be fine. Like I'll figure it out. But again, there's just so much going on in the moment that it's important to like think about those details.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's a great, we might have to add that in there because it's so true.
Yeah,
Like, what do you want to be able to look back on, and who are the people that you want in those photos? And maybe your mother-in-law would have liked just a photo of,
right.
the two of you for you to be able to give that. So
Or
I
even myself, like I have all of them just in the bridal suite and they're beautiful. And not that I'm gonna go be looking at a lot of pictures of myself, but like I just am like, ooh, I kind of wish I had somewhere outside. Like Tom is a
yeah,
ton by himself outside. And so they're just, in your beautiful place. So just it's just something to think about. Not because I
love
didn't.
it. Such great tips for those. And then here's all of our good stuff, which hopefully everybody has already found us in some way. I think, Julia, you found us through Google or just
Yeah,
doing
I think so.
general research, um, which I'm so thankful for. I
Me
mean,
too.
there's 5 million travel agencies out there. I'm happy you found me. I'm happy we could work together.
Yeah, me too.
I'm thankful because it's not, there's just so many agencies out there, and I try to tell people during the consultation, that's the whole reason that I want to have the consultations, because I want to know you have to get to know me, and it becomes a comfort level of
Hmm.
is this agency going to take good care of me and take good care of my guests?
Absolutely. And I will just something we didn't touch on was the website that you all built for us. Like
Okay, yeah.
wow, like it was just so easy. Every piece of information about the property and things that just were on there. And I was able to help Ellen like edit things like I wanted on there, but also just like you taking care of our guests. Like I came to my room with a handwritten note from you. Our guests received thank you notes when they got home. Like people still talk about that. I was like, they're just the best. So just really nice
Oh.
touches and like it was really amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we try, and again, so I'm going to touch on a few things. I see a chat.
Yes, I am
It's
seeing questions now.
okay. So let's go. Julia, do you want to read them for
Yeah,
me?
yeah. So Nicole, I did answer so did you go visit the resort before your wedding week? Yes. And then did we go off the resort at all? We did not. But the first time we visited in Cap Cana specifically, it's really safe. Like our driver was like, I even asked, I said, is there any crime here? He's like, no, he's like, the police get bored here. It's like so safe, specifically in Cap Cana. I can't speak to like outside of it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure outside of it.
Well, also because that's a gated or it's a community in itself. There's multiple resorts there. So within the whole Cap Cana compound, you're going to have a marina there. There is a incredible golf course. So
Yeah.
golfers out there, like it's a good one. I think the PGA has been there. It is a very, very nice golf course, and that is literally 5 minutes away. So from a doing excursion perspective, there's also an eco park there. So there is an eco park, a marina. So for anybody doing the excursions, a catamaran excursion, you've got that right there. And then you've got an incredible golf course. Um, so there's a lot right there. You don't really need to go outside of the confines of the
Right.
gated community.
Or what I was even going to say, Nicole, is like when you get to the property, you scan a QR code and there is a schedule every day of activities on the property. Like, I mean, there's everything you can think of, like workout classes. One of our guests did like she made a purse, like a creative, like craft class on the beach. And she came back with like this beautiful purse. There's like rum classes, tequila tastings, chess, like there, I mean, any activity you can think of, they have something every day. The barbecue at noon every day. I mean, again, that burger everyone's still talking about. So like, yes, like we didn't go off property, but I will also say like there's no shortage of things to do on property. It was so fun to look every day, like what the QR code said and what the activities were going to be.
Yeah, love it. Very good
Michael
question.
Jackson show at night. That was fun.
I love it. I know there's a lot going on there. They don't have a nightclub, so I will tell, like, for those that are like major partiers, I have to tell people that it's not gonna be like you're not having a nightclub, but they have a really cool sports bar. I don't know if you guys ever did it, like the
Mhm.
indoor outdoor sports bar area that stays up
The
late.
sports bar, and I will say the martini bar,
Martini
although
bar.
not a club, but like that's where like everyone,
Yeah.
and there I would say it got rowdy with some of the groups.
Really?
Yeah, like there
Yeah.
was some
Yeah.
groups there.
That's so fun. Yeah, that's a great area. So yes, there's not a official nightclub on property, but there
Yeah,
are areas that are open late
definitely.
to continue the party. Um, Anything else in there? And questions
Nope,
answered?
it was just about visiting the resort before your wedding week. So thanks,
Okay.
Nicole.
Um, okay, and then let's go back real quick, and we're almost at an hour, so I'm gonna stop it there. Club versus non, I just want to touch on it for this particular property, but even for other resorts that couples may be looking at where most of these all-inclusives are going to have um, club level rooms. So again, club level is normally going to give you, it's not necessarily the room itself that is any different, it's the amenities that come with it. So Ziva Zilara, each side has a club level pool. And then, like Julia mentioned, there are restaurants on the Ziva side and the Zilara side that are open for breakfast and lunch only for club members. They're open for everybody at dinner time. But if you want that sit down nice restaurant for breakfast or for lunch, then they are only available to club members, and each side has a club lounge. So if you are a club level guest, you're going to go to the club to do your check-in. You're not going to be in the main reception area. You're going to go to the club level to do your check-in. You kind of have a butler.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
like butler to the point where they're there to assist you. They're going to give you, was it a phone or a chat? I can't
Like a
remember.
WhatsApp.
Like a what? Yeah,
Yeah.
WhatsApp. I remember one time I went there and I was like dying for guacamole, and I was at the pool and they brought guacamole over to the pool.
Well, for a
It's
bride that like for us, like they brought a whole case of waters. Like they just
amazing.
were like, you need this for
Amazing.
the week. Like, because
Yeah.
we're the bride and groom. It was like
Oh my
great.
gosh. I know
Yeah.
they do such a good job. So I will say this, and again, the club level lounges are going to have their alcohol is going to be a little bit more of a premium alcohol, at least for some of the alcohol. So I will say it it becomes a situation where you don't want to pay for it when you're in the moment and you're at home. And this is one of the things I learned very early on becoming an agent. I remember somebody coming in to give us a presentation and they're like, never book your clients on shared transfers because in the moment they'll think they're cheap, but when they land, all they want to do is get to the property. They do not want
Hmm.
to stop at 4 hotels. And that's stuck in my head. We all do that. We all like before we leave for a trip, we're very price conscious. And we're like, oh, we don't want to spend that. And let's just do the cheapest room or let's just do this or that. And I'm telling you, when you land, including me, and I travel twice a month, as soon as you land, you just like you want to get to your property, you want to have a good time, and all of a sudden money goes out the window and it's like, oh, let's get the club level.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, again, I think for couples that are like, oh, we don't want our guests to pay this much. I promise you, once they're there, they're going to spend it, and you want to send them somewhere that they're going to be happy and they're not going to be chattering that the room is not good and the food is not good. And
Yep.
that's what I try to convey to couples. Don't just look at the initial price because then you're going to get a subpar property.
Hmm. Yeah, it was sticker shock for us. For I was like, what, $800 for like again, I had no experience with all inclusive, so but it's really like you're getting everything you want. Your guests know that too. Like again, it may be sticker shock, but yeah. And if it feels better, like I called like three of my girlfriends who I know would tell me straight, and they were like, no, this is like totally what I expect to like pay for an
Yeah.
all inclusive. So made me feel
I
better.
love that you did that. And I had one other
Yeah.
couple almost cancel a wedding because they felt bad after they signed the contract, not here, but at a different property. They felt bad. And I
Yeah.
was like, I think people know that this is the price. And sure enough, same thing. They went to some of their friends and they're like, nobody had an issue with it. Never
Right.
mind. We're not canceling our wedding.
Yeah. But I think also like Tom and I talked, like you do have to go in with a realistic mindset. Like there could be some people that won't like one of Tom's like very good friends had to cancel because they just had bought a house unexpectedly. And so it's just like things like that. Like if it is outside of someone's price point, like you just have to know that going into it. But again, we had that like one case and that was it.
Yeah, yeah. So my recommendation is always when we're dealing with club versus non-club, at least consider getting some of the rooms in your block.
Hmm.
Let people have that choice. Don't roll it out initially for them. Let them decide what they want to do. And, um, in Julia and Tom's case, a lot of people upgraded when they got there. So
I
maybe
think everybody did.
I need to do a better job then. Like that's good feedback for me that I need to do a better job of telling the ladies on my team, like, listen, double, triple check with people that they don't want the club because they're going to pay more for it from a
Yeah.
an add-on perspective. Once you're there, it's like a per person per night rate, and it is so much higher
I
than
didn't
if
even
they
know that.
just
Yeah. Well,
booked
and
it
to your
initially.
point, like when you're booking a vacation, you're like, oh, let me just like say like it's not that important. But once the second you land and everyone's
Yes.
going to this bar that you can't go to, and like
Yep.
you want you're on vacation, and by that you already paid the vacation off. So it's everyone, all my guests were like, we're going on a free vacation
I
because they had
know.
already paid it. So they're like, what's X amount more? So I think everybody upgraded when they got there who weren't.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, it's a good reminder for me to just make sure that we're communicating with guests. And if they upgrade on property, they upgrade on property. But I want to do a better job of making sure and
Mhm.
telling the ladies. So I love that. Um, we're running out of time. And I do have some other questions that were sent in, so I may just after answer those questions. Um, directly to the people that asked them. But um, again, I appreciate you doing this because I think couples who are thinking about a destination wedding, whether here or somewhere else, want to hear from a bride or from the couples. And I know, Julia, now I feel really bad that we didn't have Tom on. So her husband was like, why didn't they invite me on? I could have talked to it. So now I feel super bad. Next
No,
time I'm
he
gonna
was,
like email
yeah.
both the bride and the groom.
Oh my God, no, it's totally fine. Tom, I will say, was very involved in the process and was a great sounding board for the whole thing. So I know that's the groom sometimes stays out of it. Tom was very good with like, I was like, what color do you like? He's like, not that one. I was like, okay. So he was very much had opinions.
But I love it. And Julia made a point before we got on the call today that when she went for the site, she sort of felt a bit overwhelmed because you're in
Yeah.
this room with the planner and she had the moms there and there's questions and decisions to be made. And it got overwhelming. And Tom did a great job of basically stepping up and helping to make some decisions or ask questions when you sort of were getting overwhelmed with it.
Yeah, I mean, you just like I've never been a bride before, so I don't know how I'm gonna feel, what I'm gonna react to. And like it was just one of those moments where I was just like, this is so much. Like I didn't know I was gonna feel that way. And Tom was able to just really like run the meeting and I was just taking notes. So it was
Yeah.
great to have that support.
No, I love that. It's great. It's great feedback. And next time I will, for those
I'll tell
grooms
him.
that are, I know, tell him I'm very sorry that
Oh,
I
he's
didn't have them on.
fine.
Um, but no, I appreciate all of this. I think you found value in using us and
100%. I
I
recommend you all. I
appreciate it.
did recommend someone to you all already, Deidre, who got married with you all. So I
Yes.
definitely I recommend you all as much as I can.
And I appreciate it. I certainly do. We love what we do and we try to make it as easy as possible and take it step by step from the beginning so that nobody's stressed out. Um,
Yeah.
because it can be information overload online. And we have a lot of couples that, again, do preliminary research but it's hard with reviews.
Yeah.
Like for every good review, there's a bad review. And it's like,
Right.
if you just went off of reviews, you'd never
Yeah.
get married because it's just insanity. So that's our job to help make you feel comfortable and make you feel like, okay, the list that she is giving me, she has been to these properties. We trust her opinion. She's not going to steer us wrong.
Right.
And I will tell you, a lot of times we get couples, and actually somebody had written in about this where they've reached out to the resort directly and nobody responds. And it's because these resorts are overwhelmed with requests. Not only are they getting requests from agents, they're getting requests from everybody else who's not using
Mhm.
an agent. And so they have this flood of, is this date available? Is this date of, it's just overwhelming. And these resorts, I've created these relationships where if I'm coming to them, they know I've already vetted the couple. We have already been through a process. We are getting it narrowed down to where that resort is within the top three choices. And so when I email about a date, they respond back to me normally within 24 hours because they know I've already done my due diligence with the couple and I'm not wasting the resort's time. So, um, you know, I'd like to think that, we provide value and again, I appreciate Julia. It's always nice and I thank you for taking the time to get
Yeah,
on
happy
here.
to.
We're going to upload all of this to YouTube in a day or
Great.
two. So I'll send you the link and Tom can watch it. But it was such a pleasure to work with you and maybe
You
we can
too.
plan a 5 year or something.
Yeah, that'd be
Something
so
fun.
fun. And
Yeah.
congrats, Nicole. I hope you have a great wedding.
Yes. And
And yeah, happy to help anyone anytime.
thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for taking an hour today, Julia, out of your schedule. And I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to
You
see you in
too.
person. So, okay. Hopefully we'll talk soon. Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.